There we go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started.
Thank you, Daisy. Guys, my name is Jason Hopper. I'm a career coach at Jewish Family Service of Greater Dallas. I've been with JFS for a year and a half. Before that, I worked for the Texas Workforce Commission for 7 years. And then prior to that, I was a recruiter for 14 years. So I've got like 20 years, we'll run down, say I've got like 20 years experience of helping people go back to work. Today we're going to be talking about LinkedIn. Let me share my screen. There we go. Let's make your profile pop. There's my title page. I just told you who I was. LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. I think if you are a job seeker, I actually read somewhere that if you are a job seeker and you are not on LinkedIn, you basically do not exist. We'll go over the reason for that in just a minute. I'm not going to read this to you. I actually got this off of the LinkedIn About page. You could look at it yourself. I do want to point out a couple of things, though. One right here being that there are more than 675 plus million users on LinkedIn. The other two is that whatever company that you're trying to break into, right? Like you should have target companies. Whatever company it is, they're on LinkedIn. And if they're on LinkedIn, that means that you can engage with that company, right? The other thing is too, right here, it's free. LinkedIn is free. So also before I jump right into the rest of the presentation, just like any social media, it does change. There will be new features. There's a new feature right now where you can, if you hover over the your profile picture, it comes to life, and there could be a quick video. I didn't put that into the presentation just because I built the presentation before that rolled out. So it wasn't really a thing at the time when I made this presentation, but there are other features that are in LinkedIn. Now let's get into the numbers. I got this information from a sales rep who emailed me and was trying to sell me on the premium service, which you do not need, by the way. But this is why LinkedIn is important, okay? 92% of recruiters use LinkedIn every day to find candidates. 92, that's almost everybody. Basically, if you are a recruiter, you're on LinkedIn, okay? That's a lot. There are 2.5 million people that get hired through their connections on LinkedIn every year. There are 20 million jobs posted on the platform. Recruiters are posting jobs almost every day. One of the things that is unique about LinkedIn is, unlike any other job board, like say Indeed or Monster, Career Builder, the job gets posted and that's it. Nothing else happens. People can see it, they may not, whatever. What's unique about LinkedIn as far as job posts go, let's say Rick, the recruiter, posts a job and I see it and I like it. Well, now it's going to go to everybody in my network. They have the chance to see it. The postings, job postings, get reach because it can go to different people in their network. So there's more chance that people are going to see it. And finally, a candidate with an endorsement from somebody in their network is 14 times more likely to get the job than somebody that's not. Think about that for a second. If you're working or you know somebody that's looking for work and you tell somebody and basically endorse them, that person's at the very minimum going to be getting a phone call, right? I mean, if I'm an employee at a company and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, y'all need to talk to Daisy because she is amazing. Well, they like me and my work as an employee, so they're going to go at least pick up the phone and call Daisy. That's just how this works. So, and LinkedIn is a great way to get those contacts to build your network and have people champion you. So profile picture, you're definitely going to need one, right? If you don't have a profile picture, you might not be getting a lot of calls from people or people getting connections. Now, in an ideal world, you would go to the photography studio and get a professional headshot done, right? Couple things. Things are opening up. A lot more things are opening up. That's good. But we are still in the pandemic. I know some people are getting a little bit, more, maybe we should lock down a little tighter, not go out as much. I get that. Also too, if you're looking for work, there's other things that you could spend your money on besides a professional headshot, like, I don't know, food, shelter. It's okay. I'm gonna say without a doubt that pretty much most of the profile pictures that you're going to see on LinkedIn are taken with your phone. It is okay to do that, guys. Also, keep in mind, and I strongly suggest you don't take the picture in the car. For some reason, almost half of the recruiters out there have taken a selfie of themselves while they're in the car. You can see the seat belt on them and everything. It's crazy. I don't understand it. Don't do that. Okay. But stand up against a nice brick wall. If you look at my profile picture, mine was taken, I put on my jacket and shirt, stood out in the backyard, had my selfie stick. There you go. Right. Quick tip, make sure that you are facing forward looking, just like this nice looking lady right here, right? She's facing forward. You could be facing this way. If you see me, I'm like, looking a little bit, this way. You do not want to be facing away from the text or the page. You could look disinterested to somebody. So forward facing is always best. You also want to get a banner pic in there. All right. That's this. You see this big gray spot right here? That's where your banner pic goes. A lot of people don't utilize that space, and it's just this. This is the default, right? But a good way to make your profile pop is to get a banner pic in there. What you're going to do is click the me icon at the top of your home page, select view, and then right here, see where that camera is right there? That's where you do it. And you could upload a picture in there. Couple things. First, I suggest that you choose a banner pic that means something to you. Okay. Having a banner pic up there is a good way to showcase and highlight your personality. Okay. So I had a client and she asked if her banner pic, she liked yoga and said, can my banner pic be something about yoga? And I said, sure, of course, that's fine. And so her banner pic was actually a picture of somebody doing a silhouette pose, a yoga pose on the beach. That was her banner pic. You can't do this from the app on your phone. You have to be on a laptop or a computer. And so just keep that in mind as well. Now, and that's kind of where your banner pic this is actually a stock one from LinkedIn. It's one that you could do, which brings me to my next point. If you don't have a specific picture in mind that you want to put, like you don't have any, landscape type of things, that's fine. You got a couple of options. LinkedIn does have a few banner pics that you can edit and put in there, or you can go to canva.com and pick something out from they've got several different choices or options, but pick something kind of cool and that you like, and get a banner pic in there. What else should you add? Well, in your contact information, you can do a few things. One, I would make sure that your phone is in there for sure. Also, two, you can put your birthday in there. Also put your email in there. You want to make it as easy as possible for people to find you. Okay. Also, you could add your personal website if you have a personal website, but please keep in mind, if you do have a personal website that you want to link up on your LinkedIn, make sure that it has something to do or is centered around your job or what your future job might be. Okay. And it could even, and I've seen this done where the person's personal website was basically it was a blog about their struggles in their job search, right? Or had a great it was basically a chronicle of the job search. That's cool too. Just don't make it, your website's a picture of your kittens. That's not really going to help you out in your job search. Okay, so Alicia asked, what a great question. What banner photos are best to add and which should not be included? Good question. And a good rule of thumb is going to be kind of the same on anything, which is you don't want to include anything that is going to be somewhat questionable. Anything that might be a political topic or hot button at the moment. And also probably not a lot of religious stuff either. You don't want to do or post anything that might turn people off. And then I'm an archivist and a librarian, so my profile picture is me in front of the shelf of books, and my banner is a black and white photo of old books. That's perfect. That is perfect because it highlights and showcases what you do, right? And I'm gonna assume that the color picture and the black and white play off of each other rather nicely. I recently changed my banner pick because I realized I'd had the same one for over a year, which was people silhouetted on puzzle pieces, and then hand putting in that last one. So networking, and I like networking. But like I said, I've had it for a year, so I went ahead and changed it. Also good to do. When you think about it, like on your Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media that you're on, you're gonna change your profile picture every now and then, right? Or your background picture. It's just kind of a common thing to do, but people neglect or forget to do that for LinkedIn. And then they said, I found a stock image of downtown skylines to work for the library. That's good. Also, too, it showcases like where it is that you live. And Daisy, I know you're not, but if you were looking for a job, it would be recognizable. So that's good too. Anything with color, as always, Alicia, you asked, what's good and what's not. Anything with color is good. I know you just said, Stacey, that it was black and white, but I'm sure that is fine. Headline. Now your headline is this area right here. It's the words that appear right under your name. Now, let me start with this. There is no one exact correct way to do these things, okay? The two main common ways to do a headline is you list out the occupations that you have and or that you are interested in, separating them by a line, right? So it might be project manager, space, line, program manager, space, line, customer service, okay? That's a nice way to do it. One of the things that's nice about it is it will show up as keyword searches in your headline page. Now, if I am a recruiter and I do a search for customer service and it pops up and I can see it in the headline, okay. The thing about that is this. That is a very common way that everybody has done their headline, okay? And by the way, this is about making your profile pop. This particular presentation is how to stand out, okay? Which I prefer this method, which goes, and I'll tell you why in just 1 second, but I help blank solve blank by blank, okay? And then you will go fill in the blanks. As our career coach and trainer, Phil, reminds us all, you don't want to be a job seeker. You want to be a job solution for employers. Employers hiring because they have a specific problem. They have a pain point. You can help them out. Says it right here. I help solve, right? If we look at my buddy Trevor's headline, it says, I help job seekers get noticed by creating opportunities and helping control financial job loss, right? If you just write up straight up out of the blue, straight up go and say what it is that you're there to help them solve, you're going to be looking a lot better and different for recruiters. Couple things about your headline. First off, don't try to get cute. I see this sometimes in different presentations where they say, oh, I'm a wizard, right? No, you're not. You're also not a Jedi or a unicorn. All right. Don't use those words. Also, the second part of that is try to avoid using overused words, right? Here's a list right here of words that are completely overused and you see over and over and over again in headlines. Again, we're trying to stand out. We're trying to be different than what is there. So then you go, well, Jason, then I don't know. What do I do? Well, go Google the word and put synonym after it, right? So instead of say strategic, you have decisive. That's one I don't see in profiles, headlines a lot. Play around with the words and get some words in there that are going to be different than what everybody else is doing. Next on your headline, don't try too hard. Like, if you keep it somewhat simple, like I help blank solve blank by blank, you're going to be much better off than trying to be lofty and impress right out of the gate. Meaning, avoid statements like this: award-winning global career coach and motivational speaker with 20 years experience. That's a little much, right? Although, honestly, that could describe me. Right? I have 20 years experience. I am a coach. Zoom has made me global. I get people fired up. I could be motivational, and I'm sure at some point I won an award. But I would never put that as a headline. Also, too, check your credentials. All right. This Jason Hopper, CPC, certified professional coach, looks a lot better than my name with, I don't know, 4 or 5 things of abbreviations. Some of these are all professional accreditations. This one's for resume writing. Like, that's too much. Good rule of thumb, no more than 2. Good idea to customize your URL, right? If you have your URL and it is like it says LinkedIn and then just the random numbers that it assigns to it, get in there and change it. It's real easy to do. You'll click the me icon at the very top and click view profile, then click your edit public profile and URL it'll be on the right side. And then what you could do is put in the last part in that text box and then hit save, and you will have a custom URL. I would suggest a couple of different things when you are creating a personalized URL. Make it part of your name or part of something that is part of your brand. Okay. And when you say brand, I mean, it would be continual. I'll give you an example. I was working with a young man years ago, and his name was Courtney Marshall. And I was calling, we were talking, and I said, Courtney, and he says to me, oh, you know what, you can just call me Court Marshall. Get it? I certainly did, because I haven't forgotten it to this day. So something like that, he would be Court Marshall, right? My personal URL for my LinkedIn is just my full name, Jason Kyle Hopper, right? You could do something like that, or but make it Make it unique. A couple reasons. One, it just looks nicer on a resume, right? I mean, if you're just putting your link, and I do suggest you put your LinkedIn link to your LinkedIn on your resume, but like if it's just the randomly assigned number that LinkedIn gave you, it's not as professional. It doesn't look as sharp as you having a personalized URL. Check your settings. Check your settings. So on what you'll do is you'll click your me icon, your profile will drop down, and right here where it says account, look at your settings and your profile. Your settings are going to tell people how they can find you, especially recruiters. There is a setting that you can set that says, make me searchable for recruiters only, right? Now, then you get the other part, which is that green banner, right? The green circle that goes around your profile picture that says open to work. Couple things on the green banner. Well, first off, I think like when any social media has a new feature come out, everybody gets real excited about it and they want to use it, right? I think that's part of the case for the green circle around the open to work circle around you is that it's new and everybody likes it. But the other part of that is it's easier for a recruiter to spot you, right? If they're just scrolling through candidates, if they're doing a search, if they see just very quickly going by that green banner, they know, oh, you're looking for work. I don't like the green banner, and the reason I don't like it is for two reasons. One, I think it detracts from the profile picture itself. Two, if you have your settings set up so that it is recruiter searchable only, it's redundant, right? The other reason I don't like the green banner is this. Everyone's doing it. Again, you want to stand out. You want to be different from everybody. If everybody's got the green banner on there, take yours off, right? You can still set your settings so that recruiters can find you. The other thing that I would turn off as well is the people also viewed feature. Now, I have mine still on, and the reason is because for the most part, the people that are over there are either my coworkers or other friends of mine who are coaches as well. And I don't care if they pop over to, Phil's, who I work with, profile and check him out. But if you're looking for work, you don't want them doing that. And here's why. If you are an accountant and a recruiter lands on your LinkedIn page and they're looking at you, and then they see the people also viewed, could be other accountants, now they're clicking on them and they've gone away from your page. You want them on your page as long as possible. You don't want them hopping over to what could be your competition's page, right? So I suggest turning that feature off. Skills. And you can see right here, I love this. Members with 5 or more skills are contacted up to 33 times more often by recruiters and other LinkedIn members. Guys, you can have up to 50 skills listed on your LinkedIn page, and I suggest that you use all 50. There is a reason, and the reason is this. Those skills that you have listed also count as keywords. So if a recruiter is going to be searching for a project manager, and project manager is one of the skills that you have listed, you're going to come up in that search. So use all of them. Also, too, I would stick with the ones that LinkedIn has already set up and populated. What I mean by that is you can create your own skills, like keyword skills. I did. I created one that was SME, subject matter expert, and I put that in as a skill. I added it in. That's fine, cool, except nobody's going to be searching for that, right? They're not going to be doing job searches with that. So the ones that they already have populated in there are the ones that are the most common searches. So I suggest that you use that one. Also, too, you can pin and keep the top 3 skills that you want an as an employer or somebody to see up top. So keep that in mind as well. It's real easy to do. You just on your skills, just click the pen. And then also too, if you need to move them, you can move them by using the burger, which is that those three little, it's called the burgers. It looks like a hamburger. Move them around if you need to as well. Another way to get noticed is to take some skills assessments, right? You can see this from this profile right here. This person's taking a Microsoft Office project skill. LinkedIn does offer some skill assessments. You take it, and then also too, afterwards, it will show that it's got a little icon that says that you've completed it, and that stays there for a year. It's a good way to skill up. It's also a good way to get noticed and let people know that, even though you might be unemployed, you're not just sitting around, you're working on skills. Content. I suggest to everybody, and I tell all my clients, create content on LinkedIn. Okay. And here's just the stats for it. And this is the one that is the most. There's only about 1% of people that post on a regular basis. Now, if you're trying to stand out and not a lot of people are posting content and you're ahead of the game. I always say if your resume is the steak, your LinkedIn content is the sizzle. And here's what I mean by that. If I'm a recruiter and I'm recruiting for, let's say, I don't know, we'll say with project manager. I'm looking for a project manager, and I'm looking at resumes for project managers. Guess what? You're all the same. You're all the resumes are all project managers, barring a few years plus and minus on experience or experience in a specific software. You're all the same. Now, recruiters are going to be going to look at your LinkedIn page. They will. They absolutely will be going to look at your LinkedIn. Okay. So that being said, if they pop over to your LinkedIn page, and again, not everybody's posting, right? But let's say they go to your LinkedIn page and they see some content or things that you've posted. Well, now you're doing good. You're ahead of the game, right? And so here's a couple of things to keep in mind when posting content. The first is words are great. In fact, I almost strictly just post words. Although this week, just for fun, I have been posting pictures and motivational quotes. One of the reasons I'm doing it is because, and you can see right here, adding a photo to a post increases comment rate by 98%. That's what you're looking for when you post content. Now, if you do video, and some of us are better at video than others, if you do a video piece, a video content, that gets a bigger push than photo and written word. That's how the algorithm on LinkedIn is set up. Video will go farther in people's feeds than pictures and or just written word. Now, the other question I get asked a lot, or clients will tell me, Jason, I just don't have anything to say. Yes, you do. There's plenty of things that you can post about for content, right? Here is ideally kind of the type of content that you can post, right? You could do a post that says, hi, LinkedIn, want to let you know, I'm Jason Hopper. I'm a career coach. I'm looking for work. Let me know if you know anybody looking where I could be helpful, right? It's basically a marketing piece, right? I am basically just saying, hey, I'm looking for work. Come get me, right? Another good bit of content to post would be if you wrote out, say, one of your STAR stories, right? Like your STAR story, STAR stands for situation, task, action, result. These are like the types of questions that employers would ask would be, so Mike, tell me about a time when, that's how they usually start. Tell me about a time when you had a project and you had to get done in a short period of time, right? And so then you would come up with a story revolving around how you solve that problem and what the result was. Okay. Now, what if you just wrote that out? What if you wrote it out? You wrote it out and you posted that as a piece of content on LinkedIn. So here's why that's good and interesting and actually works. Okay. Is if, and I already said, employers are going to be looking at your LinkedIn page. Okay. So if they're going to pop over to your LinkedIn page and now they see a piece of content that you wrote about how you solved a problem at a former employer, they're going to go, oh, well, Mike did that for them. He could come over here and do that for us. It's just that extra bit of getting noticed. If not a lot of people are posting and you're posting those types of star stories for employers to look at, well, you're ahead of the game. You're beating out your competition because they don't have anything posted. I try and post, I don't try, I do. I post something every day, right? Another bit of content that I do, or what I like to say, is I don't like to have to recreate the wheel every time. I just write my posts out in Word, save it. I've got a Word doc. I think it's up to, I don't know, 37 pages or something. And I could just go repost things because not everybody's online at the same time. Not everybody's going to see it in their feed at the same time. Some things, I've posted some things before that, you know, had very little engagement. Very few people liked it or commented on it or anything. And then I posted the same thing again, like 4 months later, and it took off and it had a lot of people commenting on it and a lot of engagement. You just never know what's going to resonate with people at a specific time. So, you know, it's okay to repost things that you've posted previously. I tell clients, like, hey, you know what? Like, dude, if you get stuck, like, go Google motivational quotes and post something like that. By the way, if you check out my LinkedIn this week, all the motivational quotes that I've done this week has been by design. I didn't get stuck. I just thought it would be a fun and interesting thing to do, to do motivational quotes and picks all week. So that's why I did it. It's good. It's good to change things up every now and then, right? Connecting. I get asked this question like all the time, like, Jason, who should I connect with on LinkedIn? It's like, well, it depends on what you're trying to do. You know, when I was at the workforce in Plano, I didn't have a lot of connections because I didn't need them. I was an on-site manager for a company, and so everybody I was connected to on LinkedIn was working at the on-site. But one of the things that I did at the workforce was lead generation. So I connected to a lot of recruiters. When I became a career coach at Jewish Family Service, it's like, I need to be connected to more career coaches to see like what I can learn from them, and, you know, they collaborate, right? Here's who I suggest that you connect with. Now, everybody's going to tell you to connect to the recruiters, right? You'll go to different webinars. Everybody's like, oh, make sure you connect to recruiters. Yes, you do want to connect to the recruiters, but keep in mind that everybody and their mom is trying to connect to a recruiter, right? It's because they're recruiters and they have the jobs. So here's how I would suggest that you work for connecting to recruiters. You've got your target companies, right? It's easy to keep track of things in spreadsheets. I love spreadsheets. Like, keep track of your target companies and the recruiter that works at the target company in your spreadsheet, right? And here's what you want to do. Check out what they're doing. What kind of content are they posting? What are they doing? Are they posting jobs? Is it a job that you are interested in? What if it's not a job you're interested in? Okay, if it's not a job you're interested in, you could always like it and comment on it and say, you know, hey, Skip, this job doesn't fit me, but I might know an admin that would be interested and will pass this along to them, right? You're just offering to help. Trust me, as a former recruiter, I loved when other people were looking for candidates for me. It means that, you know, I didn't have to work as hard, right? Other people are working for me, right? They would like that. Like, comment, engage on their content for 2.5 to 3 weeks, then make that request to connect to those guys. If you've been liking their content, they will be more than likely to go, oh, yeah, I know Jason. not really, he doesn't know me, but he knows me from the engagement on his content, and he's going to be more than likely to accept that request. In the chat, Alicia says, what about commenting on others' posts? Does that attract recruiters' attention? I wonder, I've seen a lot of inappropriate content, so I wonder what they were thinking of posting. So, yep. So the fastest and easiest way to get activity on your LinkedIn is to like and comment on other people's posts. And tag them too, the people that you're commenting on. If you don't know how to tag somebody, it's very, very easy. Just hit Shift-2, the @ symbol. And when you do, a drop-down menu will appear. And LinkedIn is very smart. It realizes that you're commenting on the author, and that person's name will be the first thing in the drop-down. Click it, the @ sign goes away, their name is bolded right there, and then you can type in the rest of your content. The reason you want to tag them is this: one, it's going to send them a notification to their LinkedIn so that they know that somebody has commented on there. And then two, by tagging them in it, it allows everybody in their network to see the comment that you posted. And it gives that extra bit of push within the algorithm. Now, one of the reasons you might want that to happen is if you have if you make a nice comment, or even one that's insightful, and somebody else sees it and is a recruiter, they might pop over to your LinkedIn profile and check out your information as well. Alicia, as far as the inappropriate comments go, that's going to happen. I don't see it a lot, but maybe you're connected to a lot of riffraff. I don't know. I'm joking on that part, but I have seen before where he's not connected to me, and this is the way that LinkedIn works. And this is where posting content can get a lot of reach. I'm not connected to the person that did this, but I am connected to the person that responded to this person, which is how I saw it. See, like that's how LinkedIn goes. The more engagement on content, the more people are allowed to see it. I've posted things before that have gone viral. That have had several likes and views and comments. It's a good thing to do. But what had happened was the person was a job seeker, and they apparently the interview didn't go well, or they didn't get hired, and they just called out the company, the recruiter. I mean, it was bad. And so the person that I'm connected to hit reply and said, you might want to think twice about this type of post. It damages your brand. It seems petty. They were very nice in their correction of this behavior. So I mean, it does happen, but hopefully it gets resolved. Okay, it's mostly people who follow organizations or other people I follow. Yeah, I mean, it will, it's going to happen, and oftentimes, especially if the topic itself is one that may be controversial or a hot topic, people get very passionate and very heated on it. Is one of the reasons why LinkedIn just added the little hand with the heart, the support icon. It's just a way to engage in a nice way without really jumping in on both feet on a specific topic. But I do encourage everybody to post content. It can easily be one of the things that will set you apart from other candidates. And then again, not a lot of people are doing it. Yeah, yeah. Some of I've seen some TED Talks get pretty heated too. People have opinions, and sometimes instead of keeping quiet, they choose to express them. Doesn't always go the right way. So guys, that's the presentation on how to get your LinkedIn, looking different and make it pop, do something that's different from what everybody else is doing. If there is anything else that we at JFS are able to help with. Yeah, I'm not going to sound, I like to call today. No, but that's our number. It's 972-437-9950, extension 340. I am taking new clients. So if you want more information or things like this, call that number and we'll set stuff up. So what questions can I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. But what questions can I answer for you guys? Alicia says, when creating our profile, how do we address employment gaps or working at jobs that are not within the field that we are interested in? So, so that's a great question. Couple of things. The first being, when you list your experience on your profile, make sure that you do have some details that are in there as well. And what I mean by that is, just like your resume, like you write your resume, you're just not going to write the name of the company on there and the time that you were there and leave it, right? You've got details underneath there. You don't have to recreate the wheel. Just take what's on your resume, copy and paste it into your LinkedIn. That's the first part. Second part, and the reason that you want to do that is because you want the recruiter looking at, so let's say yes, recruiters are going to look at your LinkedIn page. Let's say they're just on LinkedIn looking for you as a candidate. That's all they have. They don't have your resume. So you want to make sure you get details in there of things that you've done and how you could be a solution for them. The second part is you asked how to, or what you would do to list gaps. Guys, and now there's a couple of schools of thought on this, and let me tell you what I think that you should do. And what I suggest to my clients is, life happens, things happen, right? So let's say you were out of work for 4 years because your mother got sick and was dying. Okay, and that's common. That happens. Let's use a happier example. I don't know. I went straight to dying all of a sudden. It's like, oh, someone's dying. I got to take care of them. Let's use a better example, a happier example. Let's say I'm not, but let's say that I was a stay-at-home dad for 9 years, and now I'm ready to get back into the workforce. Okay, that's a happier example. Put that down. List that on your resume. You don't have to go into all the details on it. It could be simply stay-at-home mom and list the dates out. Now, if you wanted to add things like, meal preparation, that sort of thing, you can, but it's not really germane to the job that you're going to be interviewed for. The other part of your question, Alicia, was, what do I do with jobs that I had that I wasn't really interested in or willing to pursue now? Okay, that's going to happen. We call those bridge jobs, right? It's just a job that you took because you needed a job, right? Like I need money coming in so I could have food and shelter and stuff, right? That's fine. I would add those. I would still add those in there. You don't need to be a lot of detail heavy on it because it's not what you're going to pursue, and it's a bridge job. And you could even, as you're listing it out on your title, right? So like let's say, for example, you'll type in the name of the employer. LinkedIn will if it's an employer that's on LinkedIn, it'll have that icon, right? That's on there, right? But like you're in charge of like the title, and you could in fact even put Walmart, right? And you have the Walmart and the icon, and then on the job title, it's customer service rep, and you could put a little dash next to it and go bridge job. Easy way to explain it, right? You just needed a job. So hopefully that answered your question, Alicia. What other questions you guys have? I don't even know where we are in time. Do we have time? Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've got 10 minutes. We're good on time. I was going to share a few resources. I post on the library's LinkedIn page a lot, and sometimes the images that articles have are not the best, or you want to add an image to give a post more interest. There's lots of free image websites. I'm going to post a link to a few of them, and you can also find like your banner pictures on there and stuff like that. So like Unsplash, Pixabay, Pexels, things like that. Like that's just an easy way to like make things more visually appealing because it matters online, right? Like how something looks.
Absolutely does. So Sandra, I see your question. Give me just 1 second because I want to copy these links that Daisy just put in here. Because that is a problem, right? Sometimes, Daisy, that is a problem. And I want to make sure I have those 2 links to go look at.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm posting about like library events, we don't have images that LinkedIn can use. And a really great feature of LinkedIn is you can change the image that people see from the link. So there's lots of like cool little tricks like that that you can use to make your posts just like look better, more appealing, to catch people's attention more.
Okay, and Sandra, you asked, let's see. Tips on if you're wanting to relocate to another city, how can you capture that attention elsewhere? Great question. I just had a client ask me this question too. Put it in your headline, right? We talked about your headline. And I would also put in like kind of where you're willing to go and relocate. That way we're not just guessing. It's like, where are you going to relocate to? But what that would mean is that your headline itself would be a little bit shorter, which is fine because, if you're trying to get out of Texas because you've just really passionate about the mountains and you want to go to Colorado, okay, cool. Or Wyoming, tell me that, right? But you can put that in the headline, in which case you would need, again, a shorter headline and then put willing to relocate, and then just to save space because you only have a certain number of characters, put in like, CO for Colorado or WY for Wyoming, like tell me like where it is you're willing to relocate, because that'll come up in a search and they'll be able to see it. Daisy said, I'm already following you, Daisy. I'm connected to you and I get all the Dallas Public Library posts as well. Although, guys, here's a good point though. And we were talking just a minute ago about networking, right? Like if, and I know we got like some library people here, but like if you are a job seeker, or if you are looking for a job and you are not connected to Daisy, you need to get connected to her, right? Like when you attend webinars and networking events and all of those things, I suggest that you get connected to as many of the people as you can, and you could say you can put in the note that you send for connections, and I suggest to everybody, you definitely want to send a note. Like, don't just send an invitation without a note. Like, let me know, hey, Jason, and there's me right there. Hey, Jason, saw your presentation at Dallas Public Library today. Oh, cool, great. Now I know where you came from, and I'm going to accept that request, right? And here's the thing. And one thing that you need to remember in networking and LinkedIn as well is like, you never know who someone's going to know, right? Like, and the example I always use is when I was at the workforce, we had our security guard that worked there. His name was Tracy. And Tracy would walk around when we had job fairs and stuff, and people were in line to wait to talk to the employer, and Tracy would just start talking to people, right? A lot of people just kind of blew Tracy off, like, that security guy can't help me out. Really? Because what you didn't know is that Tracy's wife was an HR director at a company. Really what Tracy was doing is Tracy was trying to get candidates for his wife and the jobs that she was recruiting for. They didn't know that, but a lot of people just like, oh, security guard can't help me out. He sure could have, because like I said, his wife is an HR director somewhere. They didn't know that. You just never know who someone's going to know. It's always good to connect to as many to the people at events and things that you go to. Yes, you go to webinars and things like that to learn, but if you're not connecting to people, you're really, really missing out on opportunities. You really are, especially to like you get to kind of know people, right? I mean, I haven't had a lot the past 2 weeks, but I do networking events and stuff, and I show up to them, and then I have people that go, hey, can we schedule a Zoom, like an introductory thing? Sure, I'll do those all day long. right? Like let's keep the networking moving forward. Just because, and some people I'm able to help. Some become clients. Some I'm just like, yeah, I don't have any experience at all or knowledge on that. I can't help you. But if I think of somebody that can, I'll let you know. It's just good to connect and talk to people. I tell my clients all the time, if you want things to start happening in your job search, talk to people. And the ones that come back to me and says, Jason, I'm talking to people. I was like, you're not talking to enough people. Start talking to more people.
Yeah, last year I attended an online conference and we had some breakout rooms. So I got to talk to, it was a library conference. So I got to talk to a lot of people in the library and what they were doing. And after the conference, I found them on LinkedIn because I had their names and I added them. And so now I have like that connection for, maybe I want to keep up with what they're doing at their library and see how it could help me at my job, how I can bounce ideas off of them. They share, informational articles and stuff like that. And they're like in a completely different area of the country than I am. So the information I'm getting is kind of different. And
Yeah.
like once you've talked to somebody, you can, even if you haven't talked to them, you can still like add them on LinkedIn. I recently started, since I post so much about the library, I've gotten requests from people who work at different library systems around me. And now they're tagging me like, hey, look at this great job opportunity, share with your network. So that kind of stuff, like it happens. I've never even met these people.
you know it's funny and interesting, and one story I did not tell, which is how I got hired here at Jewish Family Service, which was, I started looking for work, and they were my number one target, and I hadn't seen anything posted. I didn't know how to get to it, but I was already connected to our lead, Mitch. Right when I was working at TWC, I would send my send out alerts to my customers to go to the JFS networking things, and I would email him, hey, I just outreach 50 people, hope you get a good turnout, whatever. And then the position opened up here, and so Mitch already kind of knew me, right, from just our interaction. He already knew me, and so what I did was I saw that the job was posted and stopped everything I was doing. Luckily, there was not, I didn't have a customer at my desk at the time, luckily. And then I sent him my resume. I sent him a direct message and sent my resume and said, look, I'm interested. And he's like, great, I'll give it to Allison, right? And that was a Monday. 2 days went by, nothing happened. And Wednesday morning, I sent him another DM because I really wanted this job. And I was like, can I help? Can I provide more information? Like, I haven't heard anything. And he's like, I don't know, talk to Allison. I'm like, I'm not gonna, I don't know, Allison, you're my guy. Like, come on. Well, and then Allison called that afternoon. We did the phone screen, set up the interview for the following Tuesday. I met her in person, interviewed Tuesday, went back Thursday and interviewed with the CEO. And then Friday, I got the offer. And the funny thing, Daisy, and to your point, is I didn't meet Mitch until the first day I started work at JFS. I built the relationship out virtually, never met the guy, right? He just knew me from my reputation and posting things and trying to help with, jobs or whatever they were, the networking things that they were doing. That's how he knew me. And we didn't actually meet till my first day. So that process itself, by just liking, commenting on things that recruiters or other people that you're connecting to, it works. I'm proof it works. Like, I know it works. That's how I got hired here. So.
Well, we've got a little bit of time. Does anybody else have any other questions before we finish up today? And I'll be sure to share some of the information that we posted in the chat today. I'll send it through an email afterwards, just round up all the links and everything. Last call for questions.
Y'all had great questions today.
Yeah. Yeah, and like LinkedIn is one of those things where people are kind of like, yeah, I have it, but I don't use it because I don't see the point. And I was one of those people until I started kind of running the library's LinkedIn. And then I was like, oh, wow, no, actually, it's really great for connecting with people. And the more you post and the more you interact, the more you get from it, I think is the problem. Is like if you're just there just scrolling, it doesn't really, you don't really go anywhere. So like once you kind of start kind of thinking of it more as like a networking and social media I think it really starts to pay off more. And you can get a lot of engagement if you hit that algorithm just right.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen that just in my own postings, like I said, and you never know. Like I would post something and then nothing happened, right? It had
Yeah.
so little engagement, and then I posted again, like, a couple months later, and it gets legs and takes off. I don't know. I never know what's going to resonate with people.
Yeah.
But the important thing, especially about posting, is that consistency in doing it. And by the way, I know somebody's like, oh, I don't know, guys. I know it's sometimes scary because you don't want somebody to judge what you post, but LinkedIn's mostly a safe place. So, unless you just go off on a rant, call somebody out, or you're just ugly to begin with when in it, you're fine. It'll be all right.
I think it's a really like helpful place and people are kind of ready to offer advice or like just kind of be there for support,
Right. Like even the guy that just went off the rails on the employer or wherever he interviewed, was like the person that corrected him was like, you might not want to do this, and here's why. I mean, they were very nice about it. I was like, oh, in fact, I remember reading it going, wow, Molly, that was really well thought out. You did a great job, and trying to help. Again, anything that you post, I would always, like, before you hit post, ask yourself the question, is this helpful? And there's some things, like every now and then, like if I'm working from home and I'm not in the office, every now and then I'll post like a picture of my furry coworker. It's like my dog, right? And it's like, is that helpful? Well, yes and no. And no, it's not really that helpful. But what happened when I did it was somebody liked it, and then they posted a picture of their dog, and then somebody posted a picture of a cat, and like it just kind of like got legs. It was this thing, and it just probably made somebody smile. They're like, "Oh, that dog is so cute," and it's like, okay, like, so yeah, it's not like gonna set the world on fire, but somebody liked it,
but
right?
it does give people a good kind of an insight a little bit into like you as a person and personality. I think that's also
Right,
really good. LinkedIn is
right.
good for like, helping you kind of market yourself like, hey, I'm this type of person.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And it's and when I do it, when I post, it's usually I just title it Fun Friday, right? So it's like gonna be kind of a lighthearted type of post that I'm gonna be throwing up in there, right? And yes, I mean, again, like all posts, some get engagement, some don't. It's just, and I don't care either way. I am just working on being consistent in the posting. That's it. So.
Awesome. Well,
Well,
thank
I
you so much,
personally found
Jason.
that LinkedIn is great for keeping professional connections going. I mean, like whenever you see somebody's had a promotion or they've got a new job, you always just go in and you say congratulations and put a little bit something about that is focused on the job or specific catered to what they're doing. Then I feel like you've made a connection with them, even if you don't know them that well.
Yeah, it's an easy way to jumpstart that network too, is just hit that button, and then I usually add a GIF to it, right? And congratulations, and then boom, and just move on, right? It's quick. Guys, I realized it's 2, and I do have an appointment now, so
Yeah, well, thank you so much,
appreciate y'all.
Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.